511 or 512 homeworks, like the homeworks from earlier this week and from last week, actually, and they didn't know what they were doing on the percent mini mastery today. And that's okay, but that's obviously not the result that you want, right? You would like to actually know what you're doing and have some confidence. So if you got wrong answers, you should be asking, like, wait a minute, why is that the answer? If you didn't get answers yet, you need to give yourself a chance to try it on your own. The other thing that I was really encouraging, so this is 521, if you want to go ahead and pull up 521. I know we looked at it, no, we didn't look at it yesterday because I said we would just do it today. Guys, you cannot come to me and say, Mr. Hudson, what's mean? I couldn't do my homework, so I couldn't remember what mean means. Well, sure, but if you don't remember what it means, what do you do? Look it up. Google it. Ask you can't say I couldn't do my homework because I don't know what that word means. Guys, you have the internet. There's really no excuse. So, if we don't have it done today, that's okay, but it's obviously not ideal. If you have a wrong answer or don't know how to do a problem, I'm happy to help you with not knowing how to do a problem. How do we get to these answers in 30? But if you're trying to, play the whole, I don't know what the vocab word means, look it up. It's in your CPM book. There's a glossary, there's an index, and there's also all of Google. If you want a, tip of advice for when Googling things, you wouldn't want to just Google mean. You want to also probably say math. Because, the first thing popping up was trying to be the movie Mean Girls. When I typed in Mean Girls. Really classic movie, but not what I'm looking for, right? So you probably want to put the word math in there. And then it tells me I add up all the numbers I have and divide by how many numbers we have. The sum of the terms divided by the number of the terms. Median is just the what? What's the one word we could use to say what the median is? Middle. It's the middle after we put the numbers in order. The denominator in number 30 is 44 because we took cards out of the deck. In 30D, I should really go in order with these. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little all over the place. In 30D, please do not copy this. Oh my gosh, it's so obvious when you guys copy word for word what the book says. Guys, what I'm looking for you to say in 30D is some sort of comparison between the face cards in our current situation with the aces and twos removed. Is 12 out of 44. If the deck was normal, it'd be 12 out of 52. Just talk about how these are different. Right? This 12 out of 44 is easier to get a face card because there are less total cards. Or you could say 12 out of 52 is more difficult to get a face card because there are more total cards here. These are different situations. You should be pulling this out and looking at this. Guys, Mr. Hall popped over here yesterday. Mr. Hall's the 8th grade math teacher. And he said thank you to me for printing this and giving it to you guys in color. He said yeah, tell him to try to keep track of this. This visual, both of us now realize you guys don't know a deck of cards well enough. A lot of you don't have this memorized, and that's okay. But you need to look at this then. If you don't have it memorized, you need to look at this. So if I cover up the aces and twos, I can still count things. I can figure stuff out. And always, if you can reduce your fraction, you can. You don't necessarily have to. So for hearts and for black, I reduce those fractions, but you don't necessarily have to. Face card, I have that answer written down here, but that 12 over 44, that's what C would be. Questions. And that's my resource page. And 32, if you forget the area formulas, Guys, I'll offer up a piece of candy. Who wants to finish my sentence of, like, if you don't know the area formulas in 32? Vanessa? Well, not just look it up. I had a note. John, without looking at your paper, do you know what I'm going to say?
I was going to say if there's any...
Guys, look right here on the front. This is your practice work. You may want to review the area formulas for number 32. You can always reference the math notes box back in chapter 1 that literally I told you to put a post-it on. When we did this the first time, I said put a post-it in your book. You're going to probably need these formulas. Or if you don't want to look it up in your book, where can you find area formulas? All over my classroom. Right there behind Miss Martin. Right there above Vanessa. I think there's another poster up here, like somewhere, unless I took it down for right now. But like, guys, they're all over the place. Or Google it. So, area problems. Look up the formulas if you need to. You cannot just have an answer. I do not believe you that you did all the math in your head, or even that you can just do it all on the calculator. We gotta write stuff down. So notice I started with my area formula for a triangle. This is a parallelogram, though. It's the same as a rectangle. It's the same as a rectangle. Other questions? For 33, I should see work. Guys, if you have wrong answers for 33, you want to go back and re-solve it. Don't just write down the right answer, re-solve it. You can write down the right answer, but you need to solve the problem to get there, or you need help. Right? If you're getting the wrong answers here, you're doing the order of operations wrong. And you should come work with somebody to like get that right. Any questions? 521. Going once. Going twice. Moving on to 522. Actually, what I did in the last class was, I don't really want to show you all these answers right now because I think a lot of us probably aren't done with them. So if you have any questions on 522, let's ask them, like anything that you're totally stuck on. But we will look at answers on Tuesday, because we don't have school on Monday. We'll look at answers on Tuesday before we turn it in, and you know it's not due till the end of class. But guys, again, some homework is going to take a little bit of extra effort. So, like, if I don't know what the prime numbers are, go to Google and search prime numbers. It's okay if you don't know it. What is not okay is just doing nothing about it. Because it's okay if you don't know it, but you've got the internet available to you. Most math stuff, I just go straight to images. Because normally there's a good image and then I don't have to chase down what website actually has what I want. This is a beautiful representation of the prime numbers. It highlights all the prime numbers from 1 to 100, and you can see they start to become less and less likely, like they're kind of farther apart. So between 1 and 20, I've got 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, and 19. So there are 8 of them. 8 out of 20, right? Because between 1 and 20, there are 20 numbers. But between 21 and 40, there's only 23, 29, 31, and 37. There's only 4 of them. The prime numbers start to get less likely. Now, it's interesting because between 40 and 60, we actually have 5 prime numbers here. Just how the numbers divide out. Prime numbers are interesting. Yeah, so if you need a reminder of what prime is, prime can only divide by itself and 1. And what we mean is evenly divide, right? Like nicely divide. So obviously you can divide any number by any number, but we're talking about getting a whole number answer. So 7 cannot divide by 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, or it's going to make a decimal, right? It's going to make a not nice number. So 7 is a prime number. 8 is not prime because it can divide by 2, it can divide by 4, it can divide by other stuff. Other questions? Probability problems? Average rainfall? Area of a shape here. First you have to figure out what is this shape, and then you can look up the area of it. Guys, I'll help you with 41A to make sure that you know what I'm expecting to see. In 41, like for example, in A, Aiden, are you looking for 522? Here. For some reason, they're on my desk. Anyone else need 522? You don't have this homework yet? Come on up here, man. So when X is 3, give me your eyes up here for a second. You are using this expression, but you're replacing X with the number they give you. So the work I would expect to see would look something like that, right? I'm going to essentially copy this expression, but everywhere that I have X, I'm going to replace it with 3. If you haven't done this problem yet, go ahead and copy this now. Like, you can copy the work.
You have to, do it?
Yeah! What do you mean, do you have to do it? Is there math? Is there math to do? Can I do this math? Yeah, if I can do it, we do it. do. You know it's funny. It's a poop joke. So I guess I'll go ahead and finish this one out to make sure that everyone's happy with what we do here. 3 squared. Careful. It's not 6. What is 3 squared? 9, because it's 3 times itself. So that becomes 2 times 9 plus 3 plus 6. What would I do first? Addition or multiplication? Multiplication. So this becomes 18 plus 3 plus 6. And now I can add all those up to finish the problem. When you finish the mini mastery, you can keep working on homework or ask me questions from homework or whatever. John? What's a negative times a negative? There you go. So John is alerting you to the trap door that when I make X, this X right here, the X that squares, when I make that negative, a negative number squared is a negative times a negative. What's a negative times a negative? Positive. So watch out for that. This part of that problem will become positive, but this plus X, if it's just X, it's going to just be negative 2 here. Right? So that middle X is still going to be negative 2. Other questions that you can't figure out how to solve or need some help getting started on? Alright, I want to give you guys plenty of time for the mini mastery and to be able to work on homework if you want. So if homework is done and ready to turn in, you can turn it in. But if it's not done, please don't turn it in. That's just silly. Oh yeah, and the mini mastery. If you still, or not mini mastery, the follow-up. If you still have the chapter 4 follow-up and need some help, come see me. Right? We got math lunch today. We do not have AR extensions regretfully. For a second, I thought that was the first one. Huh. I thought that was the first one. I thought you guys had snuck ET in my math class or something. It's who? I feel like it would more likely be Tony or Theodore since it's a trombone. That's what I was about to ask. So every problem, I like when I do this and kids laugh at me and I'm like, I did it because of you. Every problem says show work. So do you think you're supposed to show work?
No.
Yes, of course you're supposed to. Gosh, you guys are such middle schoolers. All of you pretty much just said no together. You are not. This is just you. Sorry. I showed you the entire test yesterday. You knew what was coming. This is the same sort of stuff we did on the 5.1 homeworks. Guys, if you cannot do this, it's okay. But that tells me you need help. Right? If you can't do this on your own, it tells me you need help. You're good. Yep. Perfect. Works for me. Huh? What is not perfect? It's perfectly fine with me. It's okay. We get behind sometimes.